When Mr. Kerwin Espinosa said na lahat ng sinabi niya sa Senate, hindi totoo. When Mr. Kerwin Espinosa said na lahat ng sinabi niya sa Senate, hindi totoo. That is an institution that we also have to protect. What if he will go into another investigation and he will say that everything he said here is not real, is not true? So, ano yung pinanghahawakan natin lahat? In both institutions of the Senate and the House. And second, it was Colonel Marcos who was head of the CIDG in Leyte at that time during the killing of the father of Kerwin Espinosa. And ang haba nung sinabi ni Kerwin, but we haven't heard yung side, Mr. Chair, ni Colonel Marcos kung ano yung masasabi ni Colonel Marcos regarding sa mga nangyari sa event ng pagkamatay ng father ni Kerwin Espinosa. Regards to the statement of PDEA, I think it is inaccurate for him to say that the drug fight or the drug problem did not improve during the drug war. I can say that in my city, when I was mayor, nag-improve yung nag-improve yung situation namin during the drug war because yung police namin nagtrabaho talaga sila. As a matter of fact, during the course na marami silang hinuli, in less than 2 months, Mr. Chair, there are over 900 people who surrendered in front of my city hall when I was mayor. Why? Because natatakot sila na mamatay and they surrendered. And because of that, the drug problem in Ormoc City bumaba talaga. So, it is not accurate.
Number 3 ng dating administrasyon, yung operations laban sa mga Espinosa, kay Rolando Espinosa, maging kay Kerwin Espinosa, na ang turing ay mga high-value targets. So, I would address my question to PDEA dahil nga, ang sabi naman daw, yung mga ganitong high-profile na mga personalities involved sa drug trade, sila ang pinapakita na signs ng victory ng drug war. So, gusto po nating matanong sa PDEA, kung sa Albuera, Leyte at kung saan man yung mga karatig na mga lugar, no? Kasi nga, kung may drug trade, ano naman yan, magkakonnect-connect yan. Mr. Chair, gusto nating malaman, nung napatay si Rolando Espinosa, maging yung mga tumulong sa legal aspect, sina Attorney John Ungab, si Fiscal Mary Ann Castro, nung napatay po sila, nagkaroon ba ng concrete na mga manifestations na na-resolve nga yung drug problem sa Albuera, Leyte at hindi na ito nag-spike ulit? May ganun po bang mapanghahawakang patunay ang PDEA?
That's your last question, Congressman Noel.
And last one after, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, Your Honor, at the outset, I was not yet the director of PDEA during that time. But based on our discussions with the officials of PDEA who were with PDEA and who are still with PDEA now, there were no indications that after the case of Mayor Espinosa, when he died, there is no indication that the drug trade either flourished or was deteriorated. So,
okay. Thank you for that, Mr. Chair. So kung ganun nga, ibig sabihin, law enforcement did all these operations, pero hindi natin makita kung saan talaga patungo yung mga ito in terms of truly addressing the drug problem. So last question ko, Mr. Chair, again sa NUPL, kasi kung nagagawa ito dun sa mga tao nga na tinuturing na mga leader sa kanilang mga lugar, doon naman sa mga mahihirap na mga inosente, meron din bang similar cases na yung mga nag-aabogado sa kanila o yung mga piskal na pwedeng humawak sa mga kaso nila ay nafe-threaten din or worse ay pinatay rin talaga?
Yes. Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. In fact, there have been cases of lawyers being killed. Mentioned kanina yung ilan. The Quadcom hearing today, actually, Mr. Chair, opened a new vista from the testimonies of Kerwin and with the case of General Barayuga. Because usually the main issue in the EJK on drug war are drug suspects. But now it seems, Mr. Chair, that there are people who are not even involved in drugs. They're merely being used as a cover. Drug war is used as a cover to eliminate somebody like General Barayuga. Lawyers of drug suspects were killed not because they're involved in drugs, but they defended drug suspects. There are cases wherein the drug war was used against political opponents. And of course, Mr. Chair, there are also human rights defenders who merely protested against the killing of drug suspects who are also victims of EJK. So this is the new vista opened in this hearing, Mr. Chair. And there were cases wherein the lawyers of victims like Attorney Ben Ramos, for example, have been assassinated merely because President Duterte once issued a statement that these drug lords, drug suspects, use lawyers to defend them in court, and then he said, isasama ko kayo. And then lawyers began dying all over the country immediately afterwards, Mr. Chair. So there are victims outside the drug war, in a sense, who were also victims of EJK, Mr. Chair.
With that, Mr. Chair, to conclude, napaka-heinous nung ganitong naging iskema ng past administration na kahit yung mga tinuturing na high-value target, kahit nakakulong na ang intention lang naman nun ay ma-deprive sila ng liberty to do bad things, kung meron man, pati sila ay napapatay, Mr. Chair. Kaya kung nagagawa yon sa mga tinuturing na mga high-value targets, no wonder na lalong mas mababa yung turing doon sa mga mahihirap na mga inosente nating mga kababayan, kabilang ang mga kabataan tsaka yung mga bata. Kaya with that, Mr. Chair, dapat talaga, again, yung mga pinakasangkot, yung mga nagpasimuno nitong drug war na ito, kasama ang former PNP Chief, Bato de la Rosa, at ang dating Presidente Rodrigo Duterte, ay dapat mag-come out na rin at tanggapin yung imbitasyon ng komite na ito na humarap sila. Yun lang, Mr. Chair. Maraming salamat.
Thank you, Congressman Manuel. Congressman Gomez.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just would like to add in their conversation, Mr. Chair. I was a mayor when the drug war was implemented, Mr. Chair. And let me tell you, nasa lahat ng implementation sila against the fight with the fight against drugs, hindi ka pwedeng lumapit sa drug pusher o sa drug lord na sabihin mo, pwede ho ba tumigil na ho kayo? Kasi lahat ito, all of these people, all of these personalities, they have firearms. Hindi mo pwedeng sabihin sa, tumigil ka na. Ay babarili ka kagad ng mga yan. So during the implementation na nanguhuli sila at hinaharang nila to, nagkakaputukan talaga, and that is really true. Sad na may namamatay. Sad pati yung polis na sasama. Pero inuutusan yung polis eh. Trabaho nila, Mr. Chair, pag sinabi ng higher up sila, gawin nyo ito. They will do what they're told. And that's the reason na marami namatay. Both from the civilian, both from the police, pati na rin yung mga drug personalities. Now, Mr. Chair, in our conversations, there are two more items that I'd like to bring up, Mr. Chair. First, when Mr. Kerwin Espinosa said na lahat ng sinabi niya sa Senate hindi totoo. That is an institution that we also have to protect. What if he will go into another investigation and he will say that everything he said here is not real, is not true? So, ano yung pinanghahawakan natin lahat in both institutions of the Senate and the House? And second, it was Colonel Marcos who was head of the CIDG in Leyte at that time during the killing of the father of Kerwin Espinosa. And ang ang haba nung sinabi ni Kerwin, but we haven't heard yung side, Mr. Chair, ni Colonel Marcos kung ano yung masasabi ni Colonel Marcos regarding sa mga nangyari sa event nung pagkamatay nung father ni Kerwin Espinosa. So, Mr. Chair, will it be possible to hear aside from Colonel Marcos against sa sinabi ni Kerwin so that we can hear both sides?
Yes, kanina, earlier, when Congressman Rog Gutierrez and other members were asking questions to Colonel Marcos, sinasagot naman ni Colonel Marcos yung patungkol doon sa kwento sa totoong nangyari doon sa loob ng kulungan sa Leyte.
Bye-bye.
And somehow he has already given some information to the committee as to kung ano naman yung side o yung version ng story on the side of Colonel Marcos.
Yes,
earlier, may mga comments na dinagdag si Colonel Marcos, but we reminded him na hindi pa pwedeng sumobra yung kanyang sagot dun sa tanong na tinatanong ni Congressman Gutierrez, and we promised him that we will give him time later on before we shift to another topic para magkaroon din ng pagkakataon siya sa committee ito na magkwento o mas masagot yung mabigyan ng isang side o isang angulo yung sinasabi naman ni Kerwin Espinosa. And we will give him that later, Your Honor. But
Mr. Chair,
yes.
with regard also, if we can take up protecting our institution and the Senate.
I
as,
absolutely agree
yes.
with you, Congressman Gomez. In fact, paalala lang sa ating mga resource persons na naimbita, for the information na rin ng ating publiko, hindi naman po 101% pinaniniwalaan natin ng kumiting ito ang kanilang mga testimonya. The only reason why we are asking them to execute an affidavit nang sa ganon ay hindi po tayo balikan in the future para sabihin nila na sila ay pinressure, tinakot, pinilit, o hindi kaya isinubuan ng statement. And that is the reason why we require them to execute an affidavit. So ito ang gusto nating sabihin because we really want to protect the institution, both the Senate at itong lower house. Dahil po tayo dito sa Quadcom, ang ating layunin, wala naman iba kundi ipalabas ang katotohanan. Kung meron man pong lumalabas na mga personalidad o pangalang nababanggit, base sa mga testimonya o hindi kaya sa dokumentong isinasubmit sa atin, yan po ay tinitimbang natin. Nang sa ganoon, pag tayo'y gumawa ng committee report, lahat po ng side ng kwento ay kasama ho sa ating committee report.
Yes, Mr. Chair. And lastly, with regards to the statement of PDEA, I think it is inaccurate for him to say that the drug fight or the drug problem did not improve during the drug war. I can say that in my city, when I was mayor, nag-improve yung nag-improve yung situation namin during the drug war because yung police namin nagtrabaho talaga sila. As a matter of fact, during the course na marami silang hinuli, in less than 2 months, Mr. Chair, there are over 900 people who surrendered in front of my city hall when I was mayor. Why? Because natatakot po sila na mamatay and they surrendered. And because of that, the drug problem in Ormoc City bumaba talaga. So, it is not accurate that the Director General said na hindi nag-improve ang situation. At least in my part, as mayor, and I can only speak for myself, nag-improve yung aming lugar.
Yes. May we now ask PDEA to categorically state, is this the opinion of the Director General only, or this is based on reports or facts that were gathered by the PDEA when you said that it did not improve?
Your Honor, Mr. Chairman, the question that was asked was that with the passing away of Mayor Espinosa, did it have any effect in Albuera? That's why my answer was that as far as Albuera is concerned, we neither have any indication whether it diminished or the drug campaign or the drug trafficking situation flourished. That was my answer, Your Honor.
Okay. Does that satisfy Congressman Gomez?
I'm good, Mr. Chair. Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you, DG.
Thank you, DG. Thank you, Congressman Gomez. The next to interpolate is Congressman Paduano, the chair of the Committee on Public Accounts.
Thank you, Chairman. Before I proceed with regards to the issues that was raised by our colleagues, dun po sa raid at saka yung sa search warrant, dun sa Bye-Bye Leyte. Mr. Espinosa, yung pakitingnan na po yung paragraph 17 of your affidavit. Paragraph 17 po. Page 3. Paragraph 17. Now, you mentioned about the conversation between General Bato and Espilido. Gamit ang cellphone niya para tanungin siya tungkol sa CCTV footage ng Zilan Hotel sa Albuera, Leyte. Do you have direct knowledge or any knowledge about this CCTV footage?
Sa panahon na yon, meron kasi kasama ako ng daddy ko na nag-abot ng pera kay Sir Marcos.
So yung CCTV na to, na footage, is all about the footage that was taken in that hotel when you give the money to Colonel Marcos.
I'm not the one who give the money, but ang papa ko ang nagbigay, nag-on hand sa kanya.
Okay. And Mr. Chairman, just to put on record that we need to again invite Colonel Espinido with regards to this CCTV footage doon sa Celan Hotel in which the allegation of Kerwin Espinosa is with regards to the money being handed to Colonel Marcos from his father. Tama?
Yes po,
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Okay, now, Mr. Chairman, can we request the COMSEC to invite in the next hearing Colonel Espinido? Kailangan niya pong sagutin to. Next.
COMSEC, can you take note of the request of Congressman Paduano to invite Colonel Espinido?
Next. Doon po sa page 3, paragraph 16 to 20. This is all about the conversation between between Bato de la Rosa and Espinido, and at the same time, yung pag-uusap nyo ni former General Bato de la Rosa, now Senator Bato de la Rosa, you mentioned that during that conversation, your mother is present. Can you confirm it?
Yes po, nandun po yung mama ko.
Narinig
At
ba
hindi lang po ang mama ko, pati yung kapatid ko na isa.
Who is the name of your brother, sister?
Sister.
Sister? Who is that?
Mariel Espinosa.
Mariel Espinosa.
Salepa Eslabon Espinosa.
Narinig po ba nila yung pinag-uusapan?
Opo.
Sigurado ka?
Sigurado ako kasi nasa dito ako halimbawa, dito ako nakapwesto, ang higaan ko ay dyan lang sa first na upuan.
So, ang kausap mo noon, si General Bato de la Rosa.
Opo.
Ang pinag-usapan niya tungkol doon sa
CCTV at sa plano na idawit ang pangalan ni Peter Lim at ni Laila de Lima at yung kay Dayan na i-align yung mga date at lugar na babanggitin sa Senado.
saan ngayon yung kapatid mo at saka nanay mo?
Nasa probinsya po, Mr. Chair.
Sa Albuera,
Sa Albuera.
sa bahay nyo.
Opo, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman, with that, may we request that we invite in the next hearing the mother of Kerwin Espinosa and his sister. No, that was, so that it will be confirmed and corroborated, the statement being made by Kerwin Espinosa in his affidavit. So move, Mr. Chairman.
Comsec, please invite the mother and the sister of Kerwin Espinosa in our next scheduled committee hearing on the subject of extrajudicial killings.
And Mr. Chairman, can we request, since General Torre, the head of the CIGG in the whole country, can we request General Torre to secure the safety of the name mentioned, the mother and the sister of Kerwin Espinosa?
Yes, sir, will do, sir.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Chairman, let me proceed with the next item with regards to the statements of Kerwin and the statement of Colonel Marcos. But before that, may I ask the AMLAC, do you have now the exact before AMLAC, Mr. Chair, to answer, when Congressman Kong Hoon asked the CHR with regards to complaints and complaints on extrajudicial killing, on their records, he mentioned about police officers involved. And Congressman Kong Hoon requested for the figures. But let me amend such, or a rejoinder on that. Can we request not only the figure, can we request the list of all the PNP officers in that complaint, no? And the circumstances. And that includes the dates. The dates, the cases, the incident or accident happened with regards to AGK.
Honorable Chair, yes, the Commission on Human Rights will comply with the request of the Honorable Committee.
Can you submit it before the next hearing?
Yes, Your Honor, we will comply, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Now, AMLAC, with regards to the 5.1 billion freeze order by AMLAC been mentioned by Colonel Marcos, is it correct?
Your Honor, at present, there is a civil forfeiture case which is ongoing against Mr. Kerwin Espinosa, and properties which are frozen at present. For the peso account, it's amounting to 1,235,439 and 90 centavos. And there is also a US dollar account in the amount of $502.33. Also, there are 11 real properties. This include a one residential lot worth 336,000 pesos. Another is one fishing ship, 17 motor vehicles, 4 motorcycles, 4 firearms, and 2 watercrafts. The asset preservation order on these properties were issued on the 31st of July 2017. So there is no 5 billion, Your Honor, that was frozen by the AMLAC. That might have been sourced from news articles.
Colonel Marcos, can you comment on that?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Actually, kanina lumapit po ako sa taga-AMLA, sir. Pre-provide ko sa kanya yung documents na pre-provide din sa akin nung dalawang attorney ng taga-AMLA. Yung scheme.
Sandali po. Yung documents coming from the AMLAC, yes, dalawang attorney. Is it official and authenticated?
Hindi naman po, sir.
O hindi dapat. So you should not mention in this committee those documents if it's not official.
Pati po yung...
Sandali.
Yes,
Sama na. You should not use it in your statement, those documents that is not official.
Yes.
And who is that two attorneys from AMLAC?
Pilit ko pong i-recall.
Now you don't recall.
Yung
Now you can't recall. Can you recall it or not?
Nandoon po sa isang cellphone ko, sir. Sa isang cellphone ko na hindi ko na ginamit. At saka nag-provide po ako ng cheque na nandoon po yung corporation.
Sandali.
Opo.
Sandali. Dahan-dahan mo na. I'm just asking you about that 5.1 billion. And you tell this committee that your source is the two attorney or lawyer from the AMLAC. Now, I told you that is not an official document. Correct?
It could be, hindi man siya authenticated, sir.
Oh, that's why you cannot use it. Dahan-dahan ka po. Dito sa committee to. Second, you cannot anymore remember the two lawyers from AMLAC?
Pardon, sir?
Hindi mo na matandaan yung dalawang abogado?
Pili ko nire-recall, pero sigurado ako, sir, nandun sa isang cellphone ko po yung
How did you get that information? You talk to them? Personally?
We were ongoing, sir, with the financial...
Sandali. You talk to them, yes or no? Personally?
Personally, sir.
So you cannot remember the names? You talk to them personally, but you cannot remember the names? Even surname or family name? Ito I just want to warn you. Because we will produce the two lawyers. If you cannot name it in today's hearing, I will cite you in contempt for lying. Just want to warn you. Huwag mo kaming burahin dito, Colonel Marcos. Are you still with the CIDG?
Yes po, sir.
Oh, General Torreo, yung tao mo is telling a lie. He is lying in front of this committee. So you can name the two lawyers? As you have mentioned, you talk to them personally. But now you cannot mention the name.
It was 7 years ago.
Sorry?
Yung pangalan nila, sir, at saka yung cellphone number, nandun po sa isang cellphone ko, sir.
No, I'm not asking about the cell phone number.
Bali po,
I'm asking about the names because if you have is the two lawyers assigned in the central office?
Sir?
Naka-assign ba po yung dalawang lawyers sa central office ng AMLA?
Possible, sir.
But possible. You're a CIDG intelligence officer and you never checked the background of the two lawyers you mentioned?
Actually,
and that is the source of your 5.1 billion telling in this committee?
Actually, sir, these two lawyers conducted seminar on all CIDG personnel and regional officers.
When was that? Ito, lumalabling tayo.
2016.
Saan
sir,
yung seminar na yan?
It was 2016, sir. Training kami pertaining to money laundering.
Saan yan?
Dito, sir, sa Manila, lahat ng RC.
Saan sa Manila?
Isang hotel, sir.
Saan hotel? Hindi mo na naman matandaan yung hotel.
Actually, the training, sir, is mandatory for regional.
Hindi nga, I'm asking about the hotel. You cannot mention the name. Now you're telling us that there is a seminar in that hotel. And what is that hotel? Because we have to check that hotel. If indeed there's a seminar on that day.
I'll try to recall, sir. Doon ko po nakilala yung dalawang lawyer.
Eto, Colonel Marcos, ha? Eto, I just want to warn you.
Mr. Chair.
Eto, this is your first offense of lying.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
With the indulgence of the Honorable Paduano.
With the indulgence of Congressman Paduano.
One question.
Yes, Congressman Naakop, you're recognized.
Colonel Marcos, yung information regarding yung 5 billion ba, was it voluntarily given you or did you ask for it?
It was voluntarily given to me, sir.
Then it is mandatory that you recall the names of the two AMLAC. Because that is not appropriate.
Yes, sir. I will give, sir, the two names, sir.
Kami nga, hindi nga namin basta-basta makuha yung kung walang predicate crime eh.
I will provide the two names, sir.
Yes, provide it. Otherwise, I will agree with the Honorable Paduano that you should be cited in contempt. Kasi sinagot mo yung katanungan sa katanungan ni Honorable Gutierrez kanina. Yes.
Sir,
ikaw ang nag-volunteer nun na yung kwan ni Mr. Espinosa, ang transaction is worth 5 billion.
Can I explain a little, sir? Nung binigay po sa akin yung information,
Hindi kita tinatanong. Ang tinanong ko lang sa iyo is, did you ask for the details or binolunteer ng AMLAC?
it was voluntarily given to me kasi mayroon po silang binigay na documents on the scheme of the money laundering. Nandito po sa cellphone. Yun po ang binigay.
Thank you, Honorable Paduano.
Chairman, kaya
please proceed.
Amlak, is it normal? Kasi kami dito, pag nag-request kami, doon sa asset, freezing of assets, ang daming requirements. But, Colonel Marcos is telling this committee na binigay sa kanya voluntarily that allegedly that 5.1 billion asset. And looking at your records, nandito ngayon hawak ko, and you mentioned it, wala. Di ba? Kaya is it normal, Amlak?
Your Honor, for the meeting that Colonel Marcos mentioned, well, it's usual occurrence for us to have coordination meetings with our counterparts, Your Honor. But as to the disclosure of transactions, I'm not really sure if, but me as an investigator, when we conduct these meetings, we don't readily disclose information because of the bank secrecy law and
Sir,
Section 8.
naalala ko na. Si General Lubusan, sir, yung dalawang lawyer na taga-AMLA, inutusan niya, sir, na pumunta ng Tacloban para harapin ako, sir, because I was ongoing investigation on a Metrobank account also pertaining to drug money. Ngayon, sir, kaya ako na-meet, sir, yung dalawang lawyer. Hindi ko naman sila personal na kilala, pero sinabi ni General Lubusan doon sa AMLA dalawang lawyer, pumunta kayo kay Colonel Marcos sa Region 8. You coordinate with him. He will give you all the information.
Oh, Colonel Marcos, you're now changing your story. Tama?
It is how I meet, sir, the two lawyers.
Sandali.
Opo, sir.
So you're now changing your story? Yes or no?
Hindi naman po, sir. Doon ko sila
Anong
nakita.
hindi? You tell this committee a while ago that during your seminar, then all of a sudden, inutusan na certain General Busa, eto, problema pa, papatawag namin si General Busa. And if he deny it, lagot ka.
Both occasions, sir, are true. Yung una, sir, na-meet ko sila dahil pinapunta sila ni General Ubusan sa Region 8. Mag-coordinate sa akin.
Dali.
After that, sir, dahil hindi si kumbinsido yung taga-AMLA sa knowledge namin pertaining to financial investigation on money laundering, nagpakandak po si General Ubusan ng seminar. Yun po. Doon ko na naman sila po na-meet uli.
So nauna yung pagpunta nila sa Leyte.
It was the first time that I met them kasi inutusan silang pumunta ng OTSO para mag-coordinate sa akin, may bigay ko yung mga impormasyon na kailangan nila. At the same time, sir, na-convince sila na yung mga chief ng CIDG hindi equipped pertaining to financial investigation.
Mr.
So,
Chair.
nagpakandak ko, sir, ng seminar.
Mr.
So
Chair.
you're, with the indulgence of General Acop, Chairman Acop after me. Ito na lang po, is you're telling that the two lawyers you cannot mention is lying?
Lying po.
Lying. Because on record, there is a such thing as 5.1 billion. So they're lying, but still you cannot mention their name?
It is the, sir, a Blue Oceanic Corporation Textile.
No. What? Answer directly my question. Di ba? Sinabi mo 5 billion, 5.1 billion. Now we check with AMLA, wala. Now you're telling this committee that the two lawyers in which until now we cannot mention is lying?
Wala naman sila dito, sir, para i-deny yung sinasabi ko.
Hindi. This is record. Nako, Colonel Marcos, are you a lawyer?
Hindi naman po.
Oh, wag kang mag-lawyering dito.
Hindi po ako nag-lawyer.
Papalusot ka. I am not a lawyer. Pero hindi ka pwedeng lumusot dito.
Sir, it's an honest to goodness information, sir. Wala akong motibo, sir. Na...
Hindi, kaya nga yung tinatanong ko, kasi kanina hindi naman tinanong sa'yo, ikaw mismo voluntarily when you are being asked by Kong Rhodes. Now, hindi mo ma-mention yung pangalan. Now, nandito na yung dokumento. official document. O still, are you insisting?
Yung po kasi ang binigay na info sa akin, sir.
You cannot produce the name? Then you will tell this committee that you're telling the truth?
Nandun kasi, sir, sa isang cellphone ko yung pangalan. Pinipilit ko pong i-recall, sir. Pasensya na po.
Bakit anong nandun sa, binigyan ka ba ng cellphone number?
Nirecord ko po yung mga pangalan niya, sir.
Or do you have the document, official document, that you were ordered by a certain General Robosa to meet that to AMLAC personnel or lawyers?
Tinawagan lang po ako, sir, ni Director.
Oh, yun ang problema. Because that instruction is verbal.
Oh, verbal, sir.
Oh. So verbal, okay ka?
Sir?
Okay sa'yo na verbal. Verbal instruction.
Bali, tinawagan ako ni General Lubusan na may pupunta sa
Hindi kaya nga eh. Okay sa verbal instruction na napaka-sensitive. It's all about acid nung Espinosa.
Oh, they were ongoing investigation noon, sir.
Oh, yun yung problema mo to ni
Ongoing po.
Colonel Marcos. Yun ang problema mo. Eto i-hold ko muna. Yes, Chairman Akop.
Mr. Chair, ang tanong ko lang, sabi mo na naman ngayon, nautusan ka ni General Lubusan, who I presume was the chief of the CIDG then.
Yes, sir.
Siya ang boss mo. Inutusan o sinabihan ni General Lubusan yung dalawang AMLAC na pumunta sa iyo kasi ikaw ang nakakalam. Tama ba yung pagkarinig ko sa sagot mo?
Opo, sir. Tama po, sir.
Ano yung bagay na iniimbestiga ng AMLAC? At bakit lumabas doon yung 5.1 billion na sinasabi na financial transaction ni Mr. Kerwin Espinosa?
Kasi during that time, sir, I was dahil ako ang regional chief ng CIDGA.
Sinabi ba nila?
Sir?
Sinabi ba nila na ang iimbestigahan nila yung financial transaction ni Mr. Kerwin Espinosa?
Yes po, sir. Yun ang specific na pakay nila, sir.
Ay, mandatory na sabihin mo yung pangalan ng dalawang AMLAC.
Opo, sir.
Chairman, can I proceed? Thank you, Chairman Akop. Now, you should submit in this committee the names of that two lawyers from AMLAC before we end this hearing. Or else, this committee will be pushed aside to in contempt, Colonel Marcos. Sorry.
Sige
You
po,
should
sir.
produce.
I-recall ko, sir.
Now, let me proceed, Mr. Chairman.